I know today there is a lot of projects, which is the investments which is going on the AI side, and the recent market research. What it is highlighting is so many projects is in AI is actually failing. So now here we're going to discuss really our data is ready for AI, right? So this is a very important thing here. So mostly why an AI project does get failing, right? So we'll discuss that side. So now the very first reason what we found here is the very poor data quality, right? So you guys might have a questions like, what is the meaning of a poor data quality? Because we found there is a majorly five reasons that a projects might get failed because of so much of a heavy investments which behind, right? There might be a multiple reason, but we prioritize or we focusing on a top five reasons why the AA project is being failing in the enterprise level, right? So the very first one we found here is the poor data quality. So when I show this, you guys can easily understand what is poor data quality means, right? So the very first thing is about the duplicate data. So here we shown with a very simple example, like with a name with a different IDs, it will treat as a three different customers, right? And then missing data. For example, in a particular record, there is a phone number is missing or a location is missing, incorrect data, inconsistent data, right? So for example, the date of birth is showing here as 31st 5th 1990 or inconsistent data. For example, in some of the applications, some of the database in their organization, they maintain the data as Bangalore. Some cases they maintain as a BLR. So this all A will treat it as a different cities, or it has to put so much of energy to decode this is a Bangalore, right? And then the next thing is outdated data when we are pulling data from the different system. If the CRM, for example, in a CRM, the person has changed a company, it might not be get updated. Date format is one of the very important factor which we are seeing in the AI journey. So some system have DD format, some system have DDYY format. So we see there is a lot of a different format, everything is there. So what we generally used to do it is we make sure the data which we maintaining where the AI is going to access is very consistent data. So in order to maintain the consistent data, make sure your data is in very high, good quality. Wherever the data quality is not so good, so we have listed here the very important factors of affecting data quality. So this is in most of the cases when we doing a data consolidation. So there might be these kind of a very common data quality issues most of the engineers might face or business might face it, right? So we have to sort all these kind of things as a very initial foundation for any AI project. So implementing AI might be very easier today. There is a lot of things is there in AI we can easily build, but the foundation is very, very important. That's why we identify the five major reason why this project is get failing on the AI side. The one which currently I'm showing is on the poor quality of a data. Data quality is so poor, right? Now the second thing is a data silos. I hope you guys might know about silos. So I can help you to understand what is silos is about. For example, today they keep the data into multiple systems. The same organization have their data in the CRM. They might have the data which is in the accounting tool. So they might have a data in a different system. So that's why here I have given a very simple example. For example, sales team stored their customer orders in the ERP system. Marketing team stores the campaign data in the CRM system. The support team stores the compliance in the ticket system. Finance team maintains all the books in the accounting application, right? So there's all multiple different applications which the organization is using, right? If you today in this situation, if you want to find any intelligence, right, it is very, very difficult, right? For example, that's how we have listed over here. If the sales team does not know if a customer has raised a multiple complaint, because the reason is the support team is using a different system and then the sales team is using a different system. But really the sales team need to know how customer is happy with the system, right? Here they are not able to track how many incident which has happened for the particular customer. The sales team might not aware of it. Similarly, what happened is the marketing team might send across a lot of a promotional emails, but there might be a lot of a support ticket which is in a open. They are already in an unhappy state, and then we are sending up the marketing promotion saying that, hey, we do so and so, and new business, new offerings. This all make them very unhappy, right? Because this is happening because the marketing team, they don't have a data at all. Similarly, the finance team cannot able to track how customer is happy, and then they keep on following up for the payment. So already the customer is not happy on the support. Already they log a lot of issues and complaints in the different system, but the finance team might not aware of it. So they just go and then ask for the payment follow up and everything. In this case, what happened is AI couldn't able to help you a lot if you have a data in a multiple different systems. That's why we call this as a data silos, right? Now here the AI example we will take, right? Suppose you want AI to predict the customer churn rate, right? If AI is, let assume it have access only to your ERP system, then what it say, the client is very happy because it might go and see the purchase history, look like there is a lot of purchase history is happened, but the AI could not able to connect other dots. That is a problem here. But if you bring all the data into a particular place where AI can able to understand with the recent complaints and the website data, this all once you started to bring in, then AI will easily predict whether this customer will continue to travel with us or not. So what happens is when we integrate multiple systems, it show easily that recently five complaint has been raised, multiple payments has been failed. There is no website visit for the last 60 days because the reason is we are integrating multiple data for a AI to do the analysis, right? So now it correctly predict that the customer is at high risk of a leak, right? So when you want to do something on a AI, so we need to make sure the AI is having a right set of a data from the different system. Today, there is a lot of organizations really struggling on the data silos. That's a very, very big thing which we are seeing in many of the enterprise organizations, right? Now, coming to the third point is the third reason why the AI projects are mostly get failing: the lack of data governance and ownership. So I will clarify what is the data governance and ownership over here. So majorly the data governance is nothing but there is a policies and standard need to be there in the organization level. So for example, what type of a data format the whole enterprise has to follow, the whole organization has to follow. So some kind of a governance is very, very important here. Then only what happened, the data quality will be improved, the governance will be get improved. So similarly, the data ownership is nothing but if anything, the data inconsistent data is come into a system, who is going to be responsible for it? That is another very, very important thing which we need to understand. So most of the organization, they don't have this matrix at all in a place, the data governance or the ownership of it. So for example, here we have mentioned few business example. The company have a customer master, like customer master is nothing but the data which about the customer detail. So the question here is uh, who is responsible for a customer name? Because some cases, what happened, we have given a below. The sales team might enter this as a ABC private limited. The finance team might maintain as ABC private limited, and marketing team use ABC PVT. But here somewhere the governance and standardization is very, very important, which is a right company has to be maintained in the system. so that A will treat this as a single company. Otherwise, what happened? The three different departments is using a three different naming structure, and then the A will assume it as a three different customer, right? So this is one of the examples. Similarly, who approves a new customer record? So when we are onboarding a new customer into the system, where A has to understand about that details about the customer. So who is going to do the authorization? Whether the data is duplicate, who is responsible to remove the data duplicate? So this is all very, very important for a kind of a project for any organization. Without doing this groundwork, without setting up the governance and ownership, then what happened? There is a lot of inconsistent data, duplicate data will be there. At some point of time when the management do a discussion and review, there is a lot of duplicate data will sit. So for example, the sales, say from sales team, we will push one set of a data. The similar data will come from the marketing team, and no one will take accountability to make sure this is the same company or same set of a data which is coming for the same company. So someone need the governance is one of the key important thing, and the ownership. See, what happens is when the AA project begins directly, the most of the organization is looking for the execution only, because they want to complete the AA project as soon as possible because the market is demanding so much. So they are going in that phase only, but no one is does, uh, identifying the challenges behind the AA project, right? On the data foundation side. So now this is without governance. What happened is that's what we discuss. For example, if there is no governance layer, the duplicate customer records will be there. Different data format will be come into a picture because no one is there to authorize that this is a data structure format. The data engineering team has to maintain. No one is guiding. Whatever data which comes, the data engineering team put it into a system. All the data format will look different. And then the similarly the definition of a revenue. For example, in one system it is in USD, another system which is in INR. So someone here has to say that whatever data which is coming in the value, it should be in INR or it should be in a USD. So someone has to maintain, the organization or the owners has to maintain this governance and policy, right? And then the very important thing is the no audit trail. For example, if the governance is missing, you not know this data is come from which source, whether it come from a CRM. Maybe big companies, enterprise will use multiple CRM. You guys not know this data come from which CRM, because there is no trail at all, right? That why this governance is important. So when you have a governance, then you maintain the conventions, and then the data quality rule, what type of quality rules you guys has to maintain, and then the approval workflow. So for example, if you guys going to implement any of the new policies, there is a workflow need to be there in place. And then the very important thing is the data lineage. There you can able to track where the origin of a data come from. So in the future, if you want to know how this data comes into a system, how AI is reading the data, then all this lineage will be there from the starting from the source till the data level. We can able to track how it come from, who put this data, all these informations will be maintained. So now this is a ownership example. So for example, who should fix the particular item, whether IT team, sales team, marketing team, DBA. This owners should has to be assigned properly. Then only this will be easily AI can use it. So for example, if owners is not assigned, then what happened is the model on customer, for example, the customer is active, then we will maintain in multiple way, right? So sometimes they will say yes, in multiple system it will look like this. So here somewhere the owner has to take a standardization rule and say that whenever the active customer is there, we will maintain it as a active only, not any other format. Whatever format is there, we will convert with the help of a data engineer, we will make it as a active only. Then system will consider this is as a active customer. Otherwise, when you keep it in a different flag, then it is very, very difficult for AI to make a decision whether this customers are active, how many customers are active. Forecasting is all being impacted heavily, right? So maintaining data in a standardized form, the governance and ownership is very, very important over here. So now coming to the fourth one. So out of five things, then now the fourth one is a legacy system. So I hope most of the guys are from the data background. You know about the legacy system well. So here you need to understand the definition for a legacy system. So the legacy system is nothing but an older application, and then which have a very difficult to integrate with the modern system. That's how we have to call this as a legacy system. Legacy system is nothing but we should not say that the performance wise it is too poor, it is very old. That's why we will rate this as a legacy. It's not like that. So for example, here we have mentioned here older SQL Server, Oracle, IBM DB2 or a mainframe application. Still we are seeing in many enterprises they are using a mainframe applications. And then the on-prem ERP systems, right? So many customized ERP systems today, most of the organizations are using it, right? And then the application where there is no accessibility to any of the APIs at all. So, and then till today, a lot of a business process happening through the Excel format only, export, import, these kind of a way only we are transferring a data. So what happens is when we are running your organization with many legacy system, then you can't able to bring this unified data system because there might be a lag will be there in syncing the data because there is no API or any ingestion is not available to sync your data very lively. Streaming, these all very difficult. Even some cases batching itself not possible. We have to export the data in an Excel form and then we have to import it that CSV into the lakehouse. So many things you guys has to work on it in order to handle the legacy system. So legacy system will definitely impact the efficiency of a AI because the availability of a data from the legacy system is really very low because you might get the data 12 hours once, 24 hours once from the legacy system. But if it's a modern database or modern system, you get the data very immediately. For example, the CDC is available. We can enable the CDC. You can get the data very immediately with the help of a Kafka or any other tool. You can bring the data and give it to AI for processing. But if it's a legacy system, there is no more features in the older versions of Oracle, SQL, mainframe, and all. There is no concept of a CDC at all. Then in this case and all, you have to export it as a batch in a CSV. Then we have to push it to the system. Then AI has to understand. Today world, you need a data very immediately, right? Then only the AI will give you a lot of insights with the real data. So the legacy system will actually degrade the overall AI project. That's why we rate this is also a very important thing to consider to upgrade the legacy system also, right? And then the very important thing that we discuss on the business impact. What happen if you have it in the legacy form of systems and then database? These are all the challenge what we have discussed, right? Now the last one is very, very important in our organization is a skill and the culture gap. That's we are also seeing in many places. So skill you guys might understand when the organization have a goal to configure to go live for some of the use cases in AI. The very first thing is they need a very right engineers, right skilled resources needed to implement this project. So whether in the existing employees, they have a lack of a knowledge with the modern data and the AI solution. They are all completely might be new in this most of the cases in organization, even in an enterprise level. Second, very, very important in out of five, I would say the culture gap because the organization sometimes they don't have the mindset of a new modernization AI solutions. They might have a need of a AI solution because their higher management that or a client or they to showcase they just need a AI related solutions is needed, but they might not did any of the groundwork in order to achieve this, right? We will see more examples about the culture gap in an organization. So skill gap, I don't need to explain a lot. For example, the guy who is good in a DBA might not know about AA. So there is a lot of a skill-wise gap the organization has to improve in order to get this project. But you can see the culture gap example. We see in enterprise, some departments say that we won't share the data with other department. We are very highly confident, right? So they might not, they don't share the data at all. It is not only about the data. Even they will not share any of the process what is happening within that department. They will very keep it very closely. They even not inform to the management. We see a lot of functional companies are working in that state. And then the decision is based on the intuition, because something we always have to take a decision with the data, but they itself will take a decision. Okay, this time the rain is good, the outcome is better. So they might take with the basis of the intuition, not with the exact data. And they will not even trust the AI. They feel that no, they give whatever it is, what the globe is functioning, they might have a different thought of it, right? So this all also will impact the overall AI kind of a project will get folded, right? So this is a five things which we are seeing globally, the reasons for the very big AI projects is get failing in our organization, right? So next thing is I just want to, if you guys have any questions, also feel free to ask me, because this is we understand from our experience how majorly the enterprise organizations are failing in AI project, because today a lot of organization want to implement AI, but they not know where to start it. When we went and discussed with many organizations, many clients, they want to implement something on AI, but they not know where to start it. Right. Some cases, a very interesting thing is they already started and they're not able to get the expected output. Right. Because the reason is this five things has not been addressed directly. They started to integrate the AI, because integrating AI is very, very easier today, right? So many LLMs, lot of things is available. Adding up on your data set modeling, everything become easier. But the real challenge, 80 percentage of the project success is more with the engineering, bringing the data where it should be a trusted data. That is very, very important for AI. If you give whatever data, AI will tell some story of it. But if you give a meaningful data, then it will give you the right story. Otherwise, it will also manipulate based on what data we have. Few cases we saw in the data quality is inconsistent. It will also give there is a six different companies, but unfortunately it's a one company, but it will show it as a six different companies is looking for the new things, right? So there might be a lot of challenges might happen when you not the data is prepared for the AI use cases, right? So one quick thing I will quickly show you here is even I will share you that PPT, but that's not important. I will help you. This is very, very important. So today you guys has to understand about two different things, the database modernization and data modernization. So I feel that it might be also very helpful as a part of this particular session, because when we are talking about why the AI projects are failing, you guys also need to understand about the modernization part also. There is a two different modernization journeys there. One is the organization has to look for the database modernization. The second is a data modernization. When you think about the data modernization, it is more on when you focus more data modernization, your AI outcome will be too good. When you focus more on database modernization, your application performance will start to perform much good. So, for example, here what we are telling is if it's a database modernization, moving out from the legacy database, you guys know well, we saw one of the slide about the legacy one. So, moving out from the legacy to latest will indirectly help your data modernization journey. For example, you have a 12 different sources in your organization, out of which 3 4 are very legacy system where the data cannot be synced timely to the data platform. Then again it is a problem. So investing so much on data modernization side without database modernization is also maybe a failure case, right? So even keeping data from on-prem to cloud, because the reason began to the cloud is you have a lot of wide varieties of modern data platforms are only available in a cloud today. A lot of things which is not available in on-prem. So we see today banks how they are working is they might have all their traditional transactional data which is residing on on-prem, but all this AI and inside decision making data they are moving to the cloud, because in cloud you will get access to a lot of new data platforms, right? Where you can give a lot of insights and AI enablement you can able to do for it. But if it's on-prem, we have a very limited resources to implement the AI related projects, right? So they always prefer a hybrid. Today, even a bank is doing the same model. So it might become easier in the future. So since the cloud have more connectivity, more number of options for modernizing very faster, today the customers also looking on that aspect also, right? So this is a two important things. Similarly, on data modernization, the first thing we discussed about data silos. So putting the AI and accessing multiple data sources making very difficult. So unified data platform is very, very important here. That's how you guys might know about the lakehouse, all these things, right? So this all will help you to bring the data as a unified data system. So bringing all the data using ETL or a ELT, and then making up this unified data platform by doing a data cleanup. So this way you can maintain, even you guys know about all this bronze, silver, gold layers and all, implement everything, make the data which is very comfortable for AI to give an insight. Similarly, what we are telling is the on-prem fragmented data can be consolidated in the cloud data platform when you are looking as a data modernization journey. So the only with the help of a data modernization, you can achieve the insights and AI. So you can see the difference over here. It clearly mentioned as the insights and AI, which is a forward looking, right? So reporting, which all be considered as a backward looking. So what happened, we'll talk about reports, right? And more AI is about how we can avoid the future incident. So that's how more companies are looking towards the insights and AI. So now I can also end of the session will help you to share one of the Excel, right? This is a assessment scorecard. So what you guys can do in your project, you can answer yourself with this response. For example, the scattered data system. Here we have a predefined answers is there. You can answer any of the things, right? So what happens is eventually you will get a score and it will highlight you where you are in it. So if you get the result less than 25, then we classify this as a legacy environment. If the score is coming between 26 to 50, then you are in the developing mode. If the score is coming 51 to 75, then you are in the modernizing journey. If the score is really coming out of 75, then only your environment is ready for a AI. So when in your organization, if someone is asking you whether our environment is ready for implementing any AI use cases, please work on this sheet. This will really help you. So you start to answer it. You do the discovery internally. This sheet will be very, very helpful. We did for many enterprise customers. We showcase them how is their level of eligibility for going to the AI implementation, right? So once you started to answer each and everything, then you will understand about how your environment is currently into it. So whether you can implement or not, this you can easily identify, right? So we will share across this sheet also internally for your project. You guys can work on it. It will give you a beautiful scoring system over here. And then you can also decide whether you're ready to move for the AI solution, right? So let me know if you guys have any questions on this, because this is very high level. We not went much detail into it. So in general, what is the best practices, why it is failing? We trying to highlight why most of the AI project is failing. And then with this assessment also, if it's a very new use cases implementation, this simple scorecard also will help you where your management will understand whether we are in the shape to implement the AA project or not. So again, I'm insisting here, implementing the AA project is as simple compared to making the data is very quality. Unified data system is very complex. So you guys has to more focus on the foundation rather than the uh, flimsy things, right? So that's why we always do, like looking a car outside is not much important. How the engine, how the things internally is very, very important. Foundation is always a very important layer. So with this, you guys can also quickly review into it. So I hope the sessions might be useful. If you have any questions, I will We'll wait for a few minutes. So if you guys have any questions, I will happy to clarify. Right? So any questions, feel free to ask. Else you guys can also mail to us or reach us in case any clarifications on the data platform side or AI readiness. We will definitely support them. Right? Yeah. So if no questions, I think we can end the session here.
Yeah.
So with
Thank you, Thiru. Yeah. Thank you,
Yeah.
Thiru, for an insightful session. So yeah, we have now reached out to the end of the session. So yeah, as Thiru told, yeah, if you have any questions, please feel free. Okay, then we would take the silence as the it's all good. So yeah, we thank you for joining us today. So we hope you found the session insightful and gained the valuable sessions. So as Thiru said, yeah, we would share the presentation, the resources, and the Excel sheet together to you via mail. So do keep out an eye out on our upcoming Geopits webinars. We also be sharing the highlights in today's session. So follow us on YouTube and LinkedIn also, and stay updated for our latest webinar and events. Thank you once again. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you.
Thank you, Vidya, for hosting a wonderful session. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.